Hey, and welcome to All Things Podcasting, where we will be giving you an inside look at how to launch, grow, and manage a podcast. If you've been dreaming of starting a podcast but don't know where to start, or you have a podcast and you're looking for the best and most productive growth strategies, then this podcast is for you. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the All Things Podcasting podcast. I know we haven't been here for a while. We haven't consistently released content on this podcast since March of 2023. And I know what you're thinking. Caleigh, you are the podcast person. How could you possibly let this happen? Here's the thing. Life happens. My business partner got pregnant, had a baby. Sweetest thing ever. So excited. But that threw a major wrench in all of our internal marketing, right? Because she was doing a lot of the day-to-day editing and repurposing and all of those things. And then when she found out she was pregnant and was going on maternity leave, we kind of dialed back on things. We weren't really in a spot to take on more clients. We were trying to adjust for this new season because not only is she my business partner, but as many of you know, she's my best friend. So we're doing this together, and I wanted to make sure that we were doing the business in a way that made sense for both of our seasons in life at that time. So now we are kind of getting back at things. And one of the big pieces that I realized during this process was, I was like, okay, well, Shannon's on maternity leave, but you could still produce content, right? But I was missing that accountability piece. I completely fell off the bandwagon without her coming to me saying, hey, Caleigh, do you have your episode done for this week? What are you doing? Have you thought about recording an episode about this? I just completely let it go. So I realized how important that accountability piece is. And then when I started looking in January, comparing like our stats from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and then looked in the beginning of March, looking at our stats from January and February from last year compared to this year, I started to notice a lot of things. So I was looking at the data, and it was showing that we had so much more engagement on our socials and so many more clicks onto our links and sales pages last year in January and February than we did this year. And you know what was different? We're no longer producing the podcast. But not only were we no longer producing the podcast, we were not creating all of those social media assets, the short form videos, the idea pins for Pinterest, the reels, the TikToks, all of those things. So we weren't bringing new people into our stratosphere, and we weren't consistently bringing new content to people. I was still doing Facebook posts. That's where I show up most of the time, but I wasn't showing up on any of the other platforms. My Facebook posts were me posting when I felt like it and not a consistent routine. So I have decided I'm getting back on the bandwagon. I'm going to start producing episodes again. I've created a whole new schedule. Let me know if you guys want an episode on that, because I kind of took the 12-week year thing and flipped it on its head and turned it into something new so that I can really hammer down and get all of this content created. And then I'm also creating an accountability system, not only for myself, but for other podcasters too. So we're creating kind of a community, co-working, accountability space. What that's going to include is every week we're going to hop on a call and have co-working time. I'm going to be working on my podcasting stuff. You all are going to be working on your podcasting stuff. I'm going to be there to answer all of your questions, help you figure out maybe which episode you should be recording, or how to title that episode, or how to create social assets. You all will get access to all of our trainings that we've created over the last 5 years. You'll have that scheduled time each week to work on your podcast, your YouTube, and your repurposing. I'm going to be pulling Shannon back in as my accountability partner, and you guys are going to be using me as your accountability partner. Shannon will hop in also, especially if I'm on vacation or something. She is the editing queen, so she'll probably come in and give you all information on that. And we're going to show you the easy, repeatable system that we use with our one-on-one clients to help them produce better content faster, and show you the process and the strategies that we use to turn your listeners into buyers. Because if you're creating all this content, it needs to have a purpose, right? It needs to drive sales to your business. So we're going to focus on that. I'm going to do my next podcast episode is going to focus on that also. So if you want more info on that, stay tuned in, and next week you will get all of the information on those things. So with that, I would like to say welcome back. I'm excited to be creating content again. If there's something in particular that you want to learn about, questions you have about podcasting, you guys know where to find me. I'm always in the DMs on Facebook, so you can DM me there, and you can ask me all of the questions, make requests for episodes, and if you want to get in on that program, we're calling it the AV Club, you can click the link in the show notes or send me a message as well to get in on that. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of All Things Podcasting. If you enjoyed this episode, then hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so that you'll never miss an episode. This podcast is for you, so be sure to reach out and let me know what you thought about it. You can DM me through Facebook or Instagram, where I also share valuable content, or you can find me in our Facebook group. Just search for All Things Podcasting in the search bar. I can't wait for you to join us next week for the latest episode of All Things Podcasting.